So we've been covering what's been going on with Karen Read and this civil lawsuit she's facing. Now we know Peggy and the O'Keefe family is suing Karen Read, Waterfall, and the other bar that was involved in this situation with John O'Keefe and Karen Read. And they're mentioned in this lawsuit. Karen Read's fighting against the lawsuit, and she actually filed a counterclaim against pretty much everyone that was a key witness in her criminal trial. We got Brian Higgins mentioned in that. We've got the Alberts. We've got the McCabe's. We've got Yuri. We've got Tully. So now there was a virtual hearing that took place yesterday, and we're going to get into some of the details of that. Alan Jackson's not backing down, and we're actually going to hear from Karen Read's father on how he thinks this civil trial is going to go. Check this out.
Karen Read was back this afternoon in court, sort of.
Yes, there was a virtual hearing for the civil suit the family of John O'Keefe has filed against her. NBC 10's John Maroney joins us live from Canton with details on today's developments. John.
This was a lot of legal housekeeping, but that hasn't stopped a number of recent twists in the case of Karen Read.
Karen's statements have been consistent, and they're certainly consistent with the lawsuit that's been filed in Bristol County.
The wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of John O'Keefe front and center on Zoom, with both sides getting their legal ducks in a row. The O'Keefes are suing the Waterfall Restaurant and C.F. McCarthy's as well.
I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters.
Read was acquitted last summer in a second trial of killing her boyfriend and Boston police officer with her SUV. She was convicted of drunk driving.
If I could have just a moment, Your Honor, to confer with my client.
Alan Jackson mentioned Karen Read, but we didn't see her in any of the Zoom rooms. She filed a lawsuit this week against some of the chief criminal investigators like Michael Proctor, as well as witnesses including Brian Higgins and Brian Albert. There's now talk of joining her defamation lawsuit and the wrongful death lawsuit.
There was discussion within some of the briefing that it should be consolidated for purposes of discovery.
Judge Beverly Cannoni also moved this week to release sidebar transcripts from the criminal trials, but not the discussions with jurors. In addition, the state's Post Commission rejected Alan Jackson's request to investigate Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox of what Read's attorney says was questionable actions during the Read trial.
And we're going to get into that.
Now it will be many months before this civil trial gets underway. If at all, there is another pretrial hearing scheduled for next month. We're live in Canton, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
And I'm going to be honest, I think the way they're playing this as from a legal standpoint is smart. And I thought at the beginning, the Waterfall, C.F. McCarthy's, they should have just settled their part of it when it comes to the wrongful death situation. And the O'Keefes, they're only looking for $50,000. So when it comes to the bars, they should be able to settle this and just have their insurance pay for it in some way. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so take that for what it is. But when it comes to Karen Read defending herself and Alan Jackson saying that they're going on the offense, they're not playing defense anymore, this is a perfect opportunity to drop the lawsuit that they did. Now we're going to get into Karen Read's father speaking out about this entire civil lawsuit situation, the lawsuit that Karen Read just dropped, and how he still believes they need to seek justice for John O'Keefe, as we've heard so many say, including the jury foreman from Karen Read's criminal trial. Check this out.
It's a battle. We will ultimately prevail. We will win. We've got the truth on our side.
New at 6 and only on NBC 10, we're hearing from Karen Read's father in Dighton after she fires back in an explosive and lengthy lawsuit. Karen Read is accusing members of the Massachusetts State Police and several Canton residents of framing her for the murder of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Good to have you with us tonight. I'm Patrice Wood.
I'm Gene Valicenti. She beat the criminal rap in a retrial. She's being sued civilly, and now she's trying to turn the tables on her accusers. As NBC 10's Molly Levine reports with a one-on-one interview with Read's father. Molly?
Gene and Patrice, Karen Read's father, William, is confident his daughter and her team will prevail because he says they have the truth on their side.
It's going to be a while, but it will be resolved.
3.5 years, 2 trials, and an acquittal later. Now Karen Read is fighting back.
This is an innocent woman who's been set up, who's been framed. This is a cause for justice.
The 46-page lawsuit filed Monday is against several members of Massachusetts State Police and most of the people at the 2022 house party at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. That includes Brian Higgins, the homeowners, the Alberts, and the McCabe's. Reed says John O'Keefe's murder was pinned on her, and the complaint accuses troopers of ignoring, destroying, and even planting evidence.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go across the street and get the Ring camera footage, let alone enter the house during the investigation while there's a dead body laying in the front lawn. All right, come on.
Can't look at these trials inverted videos at the Sally Port. John O'Keefe's shredded hoodie, all of the witnesses whose testimony was questioned. People are aware what's going on.
In a joint statement, the attorneys for the residents named called the lawsuit defamatory and without merit, insisting their clients were witnesses caught in the middle of a conspiracy theory manufactured by Reed and blogger Turtle Boy.
What do you think about the response that this lawsuit just furthers a fuel that this is a conspiracy theory?
The truth will be told. The truth will come out. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
And the suit comes around the same time former Assistant U.S. Attorney Adam Deitch, who had a leading role in the federal investigation into the handling of the Karen Reed case, announced he's taking up residence in Quincy so he can run for Norfolk County District Attorney.
I am heartened by that news. This is an individual who probably has a rich perspective of what went on.
For Karen Reed and her family, the fight will be long and challenging, but as her team says, no quit.
She's lost 2 positions at Fidelity, at Bentley, had to sell her home, lost her vehicle, had to liquidate her 401, right? She's lost a lot, and plus she's had to face the threat every day that this state was going to put her away for the rest of her natural life. You can't look at this as just one outcome. If we're successful, as I believe we will be, then we will ultimately know what happened to Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
Yes, absolutely.
And the attorney for the O'Keefe family didn't immediately have a comment on the suit. As for Karen Reed and where she is now, her father says she travels a lot and is constantly in communication with her legal team. You can watch my full interview with William on our WJR YouTube channel. I'm live in studio, Molly Levine, NBC 10 News.
And shout out to NBC 10. They actually have the full interview here. I'm not going to play the full interview because I think we heard the key parts of what Karen Reed's father had to say here, and I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to access this video. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I am thinking specifically about how much it's going to cost everyone mentioned in Karen Reed's countersuit to pay for attorneys. They're going to have to fight this. Every single one of them listed there is going to have to get representation. Then they're going to have to go through the process. Then we still have to wait for the judge to decide if this is always going to be into one case or if it's going to be separate. And we're going to see and be talking about Karen Reed well into 2027. This is not even a question unless a lot of this gets settled. I can't imagine that the Alberts, I can't imagine that the McCabe's or Brian Higgins or Yuri Buchanan or Michael Proctor or Brian Tully would settle. We saw the interview that they did. They stood 10 tones down on the fact that they're the victims here. Karen Reed should be settling with them. Karen Reed should be paying them money for all the issues they had to deal with as a result of allegedly Turtle Boy and Karen Reed doing what they did. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. I'll leave a link to the full interview in the description. This is just the beginning for sure.